Doctor Who is known for its time-travelling antics, often popping back into the past for a scrappy adventure and getting home in time for tea. Doctor Who episodes set in Earth's past are often referred to as historicals, because, well, they're historical. However, despite having literally thousands of years of recorded human history to pick from, Doctor Who still ends up falling back to World War I and II every time it needs a major historical place to go to. In case they're struggling for ideas down there in Cardiff, here are 4 times and places I think would make pretty good choices for historical stories. Doctor Who historicals can't resist a good old mystery. From Agatha Christie's disappearance to Shakespeare's lost play, Doctor Who loves to explore a historical mystery. However, the relatively unknown mystery of Ivan the Terrible's lost library would be a great topic for a Doctor Who episode. The lost library of the Moscow Tsars was created by Ivan the Great in the 16th century and passed down to Ivan IV, also known as Ivan the Terrible. The library supposedly contained rare Greek, Latin and Egyptian works from Constantinople and Alexandria. The library seemingly disappeared under Ivan the Terrible's rule, with multiple archaeological searches underneath the Kremlin turning up nothing to this day. There are a number of colourful and fantastical myths around the library, including curses and black magic. One of the leading myths suggests that Ivan cursed the library before his death, afflicting those who come close to finding the library with blindness. Now, if this doesn't sound like prime Doctor Who material, I don't know what does. There are so many creative routes to take, from Ivan hiding a dark alien secret to the library being some kind of spaceship. You can do all sorts with the idea and turn it into an Indiana Jones style episode. I mean, we've literally had Agatha Christie's famous disappearance attributed to a giant shape-shifting wasp. It's no holds barred, the sky's the limit. This is probably the most controversial time and place on this list, because a lot of people are still upset about it. The Falklands War would be a good choice for a historical Doctor Who episode that fits in with the educational nature of the show. The Falklands War was the war between the UK and Argentina over the Falkland Islands during spring 1982. The war was mainly a political move to increase the popularity of the Conservative government and secure Margaret Thatcher's win in the following elections, along with the war causing Argentina's military dictatorship to collapse back into a democracy. I'm not really sure how a Doctor Who episode could fit a story into this setting, but it definitely should do something about it, because you'd be surprised how few people really know about the Falklands War. As far as most people are concerned, the UK never touched a war between World War II and the Gulf War. However, a lot of important people in Argentina are still pretty sore and sensitive about the whole thing, so a Doctor Who episode about the Falklands War might just cause another one, so best not. When the Roman Empire fell and the Romans left Britain, they left the many towns and cities how they had built them, leaving the population to their own devices. What followed could be compared to something out of a post-apocalyptic story, with a period of chaos and instability due to bandits and constant invasions. Cities found themselves shrinking, with slum-like shantytown areas developing inside amphitheatres and colosseums. Think of Fallout 4's Diamond City, but inside a colosseum or bathhouse. Perhaps we could see post-Roman Eboracum, the largest town in northern Britain in its prime. Eboracum would eventually become York, which is about 2 hours away from Sheffield, where the Jodie Whittaker era of Doctor Who is based. Handy that, isn't it? Also, York is assumed to have a missing amphitheatre somewhere in the city, so maybe that could factor into things. Who doesn't like pirates? Anyone working in cybersecurity probably. But how about a classic swashbuckling tale on the high seas? Now that's the good stuff. Despite not really having anything to do with pirates, the 1741 Battle of Cartagena de Indias was Britain's third attempt at capturing the South American city. It ended up being a humiliating loss for the British Navy, who were forced to retreat despite massively outnumbering the Spanish, who had roughly 3,000 military personnel and 6 ships. compared to Britain's estimated 254 ships and 30,000 personnel. During the many wars for naval supremacy during the 18th century, the Battle of Cartagena stands out as the moment Spain consolidated its hold over South America, which would have long-term social and cultural effects that can still be seen to this day. The battle could serve as the perfect backdrop for a pure historical. You could have the Doctor stuck on one side of the conflict and the companion on the other, much like Season 2's The Crusade, where the main cast is split across both sides of the conflict. Or maybe you could have some kind of alien interference in the whole thing. I don't know, I just really like the Ailstorm song. So those were 4 times and places Doctor Who should absolutely use as settings for a historical story. Humanity has such a rich and storied history to choose from, so please just do anything that isn't a world war, at least for a little bit. But what about you? What do you think would make a good historical? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.